Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's 1:45 because I was just listening to Under One Roof to prep this video, so I've done that. So now I'm gonna get into every Ali Hazelwood book that I've ever read. So we all know Ali Hazelwood, we all love Ali Hazelwood. You may think she's just a popular author, but she's more than that. She has a mission. She's promoting women in science. She's promoting sex positivity. And she's good at what she does. So she's got a fan in me. I want to start out with a quote from Ali herself. And this is written in the back of Love on the Brain. If academia ever makes you feel like you aren't good or smart enough, it's not you. It's academia. So Ali Hazelwood is a scientist. I'm not sure about her specific field of science, but she knows that there's a huge problem. There's a big lack of women in science. It's a huge problem. So not only is she promoting women in science, she's entertaining us, educating us, and she's accomplishing a lot in what she does. And there's no other author that is combining science, promoting women in science in the romance field. That's why she deserves all the hype. So in this video, I'm going to talk about every full-length novel that she's written so far, and the 3 novellas that were in the bind-up, which were Below Zero, Stuck With You, and Under One Roof. I'm going to talk about what the works that I didn't like first, and then make my way all the way up to my top 3 favorites by Ali Hazelwood. So let's get in the Loathe to Love You novellas, and these will be the only novellas I'll talk about in this video. I didn't read Cruel Winter with You and the video game one and whatever other novella she has. I haven't read those yet. The Loathe to Love You novellas are interconnected novellas, but they do stand alone. You can read them in any order. They're about 3 friends, Sadie, Hannah, and Mara. And they're all like professional rivals to lovers or forced proximity sorts of romances. So the order in which I'm putting the Loathe to Love You novellas is the order in which I read them. So the recency bias is strong there, but I'm like, that's the order that I like them in. And I'm trying to like challenge my brain to like change the order, but I don't know. So my least favorite, which honestly they're all pretty equal, I have Below Zero, which is kind of strange because it's the most exciting plot. It was very adventurous, very exciting. It is about Hannah's a NASA aerospace engineer. I have like everyone's careers written down, so I'm looking at my notes. And all I'm gonna say is like she has an adventure in Norway. And I don't want to say too much, but NASA has a research center in Norway because it's easier for them to test technology they would use on Mars on Norway because they're similar for some reason. I might be getting that wrong, but that's how I remember it. So yeah, I learned a lot about Mars in this novella. Yeah, this had a great plot, definitely the most interesting of all 3. So I don't know why I'm saying this is my least favorite one, but they're all kind of neck and neck. So yeah, I mean, it's hard to rate novellas, but I'd give it like a 3 or a 4. Next we have Stuck With You. This is about Sadie and Eric. Sadie is a civil engineer, I believe, and Eric is in her same field, I believe. In this book, Ali's love with the Scandinavians is strong. The love interest is Danish, and that's like a huge part of that novella. This is the spiciest novella, in my opinion, out of the 3. But I really liked the characters' common interests and the chemistry they had. I liked how they got along with each other. And I think there's a little flimsy reason for the conflict, but it made enough sense. But it was just fun to see them straighten out that conflict that they had. Ali Hazelwood has a lot of miscommunications in pretty much all of her books, so a lot of misunderstandings, and that was very clear in this novella. And my favorite one was Under One Roof. This is with Mara and Liam. I love roommates, the roommate trope. That's why I really liked Funny Story by Emily Henry. Just loved the roommate trope so much. I kind of wish the roommate trope was set up a little better, because Mara, our main character, is living in her mentor's, or she moves into her mentor's house after her mentor passes away. While, it's hard to believe that she's so close to a mentor that she would move into her house. So I'm like, why a mentor? We could have had a different sort of connection that would have made more sense, why she'd be living in her house, but whatever. Mara's an environmental engineer, and she believes that Liam, her mentor's nephew, is a big shot lawyer who doesn't care about the environment, so that creates some tension between them. So yeah, I really liked this. It had good tension, and they're all funny. That's what Ali Hazelwood knocks out the park every time, is humor and spice. So as we get into our full-length novels now, in every novel we have spice, we have humor, we have what really strikes me are the struggles of academia, like grad students not being paid enough, student loan debt, sort of things I've experienced. So I'm not in the science. Well, I'm slightly in the science field, but not really. But I really connect with that. We often have a Scandinavian man, and we have a girl who doesn't believe in love, or like can't wrap her head around someone being attracted to her for some reason. So those are just some commonalities, common threads that I saw when I was thinking about all of her books together. So now I'm going to get into ranking the novels from least favorite to favorite, starting with Not in Love. I'm not in love with Not in Love, but specifically the male lead. This book is about Rue, a biotech engineer, and Eli, who works with a company that bought her company that she worked at. But yeah, I love workplace romances, but I did not love this book. For a book called Not in Love, the male lead was obsessed with Rue at first sight. And with Not in Love, I thought it would be more like a casual sort of romance, but he's just like, his whole, like, he's just obsessed with Rue. So yeah, the whole issue of Not in Love for me is Eli. He was too controlling. He was in love. He was in love instantly. He was bossy and unlikable, in my opinion. And Ali Hazelwood has her preferences, but for me, I found him, domineering, just too much. And I didn't think that he was pursuing her. I thought he was pressuring her, and I think there's a difference. And I did not like what I was reading. There's a part in the book where she says she wants to go home, and he's like, no, stay. Ali Hazelwood, she has a fantasy that's in many of her books, like Love on the Brain and Love Theoretically, where she wants, or the female lead wants to be locked in a room. That's not a fantasy I have, so I just not into that. With Not in Love, you have a dom sub relationship, but they'd never really like clearly established that relationship, and there was not enough enthusiastic consent. So the romance was so one-sided. So yeah, I did not like Not in Love. So, but yeah, I liked the plot. I just did not like how he was way more into her than she was into him. Okay, I'm gonna move on. That is like the only Ali Hazelwood that I just don't like. The rest of them I like. So now we have Bride. Unfortunately, this is a lot of people's favorite, or one of their favorites by her. This is about Misery, who's a daughter of a powerful vampire councilman. She actually lives in the human world. She works in computer science, I believe. And her father, and because of that, before I get into the enraged marriage stuff, but because she works and lives in the human world, it wasn't like fantasy enough for me. But her father makes her marry Lo, who's an alpha wear, so that they can strike up a alliance to keep peace between the humans, vampires, and werewolves. And that sounds like huge stakes, right? But the tone of the book did not match the serious stakes of the fates of vampires, humans, and wares. The jokes didn't fit the seriousness of the setup of the book. The jokes didn't really land for me. The writing wasn't detailed, in my opinion. Like, if I were to paint a picture, like, I imagine this as a cartoon as opposed to like a movie with real people in it. I just, didn't buy into this world. There wasn't enough fantasy in it for me. And it didn't have me on the edge of my seat with a lot of action or anything. So it was like a little too focused in the human world for me. A lot of people say it just reads like a normal contemporary romance, and that's what I think. I love vampires. Like, I've seen every vampire show there is to see. So yeah, I had really high expectations because I heard a lot of people love it, but it didn't work for me. But yeah, it was okay. It was like 3-star maybe. But yeah, just low down on this list. I think she has better books. So the next book I'm going to talk about is the very first Ali Hazelwood book I read a couple years ago. And this is The Love Hypothesis. I have such mixed feelings about this because I really liked it, but it has the fake dating trope in it, which I despise. I think I'm reading a book right now, and I think fake dating is such a crutch to just bring the two characters together. I think this book would have been great without the fake dating trope. She could have just had the two characters like work together, just like how her other books are, and just like naturally come together. The fake dating doesn't happen in real life. It's unrealistic. It doesn't make sense. I think they fake dated. The main characters are Olive, a PhD candidate, and Adam, a professor. And I think Olive wanted her friends to think she was like okay because she was in a relationship and she's like doing fine. So then she just randomly kisses Adam. So I didn't love that. I'm not a fan of fake dating, and yeah, I wish this book didn't have fake dating in it. This book, as you get into it, has withholding of very important information, which literally like stress me out so much. A lot of the books have miscommunication. So yeah, that kind of drove me crazy. It was like I liked it and I didn't. But yeah, that part was pretty frustrating when the communication was not flowing as it needed to between Olive and Adam and like this under the third act part of the book. But it did make me cry and like reminded me of me and my boyfriend, which is like so random. Like, like I'm not a PhD candidate, but like I don't know why I like related to this, but I don't know. So I really like this book and had issues with the fake dating at the same time, but yeah. So yeah, it's my least favorite of the, I don't know what that series is called, but that series, that her trilogy, STEM trilogy that she has. But yeah, I do like it. So next we have Love on the Brain, which is the novel that I most recently completed, so it's at the top of my brain. This book, wait, okay, I wrote down the characters' names. This stars Bee and Levi. This takes place in NASA's center in Houston. Bee is a neuroscientist and she's creating helmet technology for astronauts. And Levi, a man who she assumes to be her nemesis, who's not actually her nemesis, works with her. Oh god. This book has one big issue. It's not enemies to lovers if one of you thinks your enemy, the other one doesn't. If one of you thinks your enemies and the other one doesn't, you're not enemies. Like, it has to be a two-way street. Like, the way that you can't be in a relationship and only one of you thinks you're in a relationship, you can't have enemies to lovers and only one of you thinks you're enemies. So every single chapter, it's like, Levi and I are enemies. Levi and I are nemesises. And it was repeated so much that Levi makes a joke about it in the book. But it was so annoying. It was repeated way too much. So that's the biggest issue of the book. She thinks that they're enemies because he won't, like, give her enough eye contact. And, like, there's just a ton of assumptions that they make about each other. So this whole book is just assumptions. But yeah, the amount of times she says enemies and nemesises was so annoying. Oh my gosh. That was by far the biggest issue. But yeah, I think Love on the Brain and Love Theoretically are the most science heavy. Challenge me in the comments if you disagree. But yeah, I love the science elements of it. I love the humor. I really like this, so I gave it 4 stars. I thought the FMC was unique, a little annoying because of all the nemesis talk. So yeah, this whole book is just Bee and Levi making incorrect assumptions about each other, and that just being like stretched out through this whole book. But I didn't love the third act breakup, but and I did think Bee's character was a little bit inconsistent, because she was engaged, but then now she doesn't believe in relationships, but she wants kids, but she like doesn't want to have kids, and she thinks Levi is her enemy, but she's attracted to him. So like everything was inconsistent with her character. But it's like characters are complex, but I think Ali made her a little bit too conflicted, self-conflicted character. But I'm saying a lot of negatives, but I thought it was really romantic, and yeah, super heavy on the science and really funny, and I enjoyed it despite all of the incorrect assumptions throughout this whole book. So now I'm going to get into my top 3. I'm going to talk about, I gotta grab it. Here is Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. This book is my 3rd favorite Ali Hazelwood book. I really like this. So, okay, I should explain what it's about. So this book is about Scarlett, who is a collegiate diver, I think at Stanford, and Luca, who is he's like a 10 billion time gold medalist in every single swimming event that there is, like freestyle, backstroke, butterfly, everything. Like, he's golden all across the board. I'm like, come on. Come on. Like, I was like, I really like this book, but come on, that was too much. Just make him gold and, like, fly. Like, not gold in everything. So anyway, Luca is... Oh my god, they say it a billion times, but I'm forgetting. Is he Norwegian? Sweden. He's Swedish. They say it a billion times in this book. We get it, Ali. We know you love Scandinavian man. So this book was so good. I'm dragging it, but I really liked it. I give it 4 stars. So I'll start with common criticism for this book. This book is about Penelope, actually, Scarlett's friend, and Luca, who break up because Penelope is not as into kinks as Luca is, and I think by kinks they mean like dom sub. And Scarlett tells Penelope that she is into dom sub relationships, even though she doesn't have that much experience with them. But and then one day Penelope gets drunk and suggests that Scarlett and Luca should hook up. And, you know, it's believable enough. But people had a lot of problems with Penelope being booked, but it was fine with me. A big critique for this book is that eventually Scarlett and Luca, they begin to hook up. They have a friendship. They also do science together. They're doing a research project together. So they grow closer. They decide to get together, and they write a list of all the kinks that they want to, or that they're interested in. And the reader, we saw none of it. We didn't see any of the kinks that they wrote on this long list of kinks that they wanted to do. We didn't see anything. So I didn't think this was that spicy. Like, it was a lot of spice, but there weren't a lot of kinks in it. And it wasn't super erotic to me. So yeah, if you're gonna have a kinky book, make it a kinky book. That's what a lot of people are saying. You can't have a list of kinks and do none of them. So I agree with a lot of people when this didn't seem kinky. It just seemed vanilla. So yeah. But yeah. So now what I really liked about this book. I just loved the diving. Like, I learned so much about diving. It's so hard to find a good sports romance, and Ali Hazelwood did an amazing job of making the college students realistic. So many college books I've read, like The Dare, even Icebreaker, like the college kids read like they're in elementary school. Like, make them sound like actual college students. So she did excellent at student, athlete, college student. She did excellent on all the sides of being a student athlete. I wasn't a student athlete, but I understand enough about it. She had therapy in this book. Some reviews say that the therapy didn't fix the mental blockages she was having about diving, but it was more about her relationship with Luca. But I still really liked the therapy that was included. So I really liked this. I think it was really realistic for the college student athlete experience. But yeah, the romance could have been better. So 4 stars for me. All right. Next we have Check and Mate. My second... Oh, I'm going to put this down now. I have the tabs at the top so I can see the water on the edge. Okay. So now, Check and Mate. This book is Ali Hazelwood's only YA. She should definitely write more YA. This book has Mallory and Nolan, who are high school aged. I think Nolan might be done with school, and Mallory is in school. and Mallory is a mechanic, which is kind of cool. Ali Hazelwood always wants to put women in jobs that typically aren't considered to be women's jobs. But this book was so fun. It was great. People had an issue with Mallory being sexually active, I guess. And, okay, people being mad about Spice being in YA books. I'm like, guys, teenagers are doing these things. Like, why are we pretending they're not? So I don't really understand why people don't like Spice and YA. Like, anyway. So, on one hand, I liked how Ali Hazelwood does with all books. It's very sex positive. But the one thing is, Mallory was very jaded about relationships. And she thinks that all relationships are good for is the physical. And I'm like, I think that's kind of unrealistic for a high schooler. Like, I feel like most high schoolers are more, like, it takes until your late 20s usually to be that jaded and be like, oh, relationships are only good for the physical. So I feel like that was a little un-high schooly, but you know, how she's using dating apps and stuff, we know teenagers actually do these things, so I don't think you know, I don't get why people are so up in arms about it. But yeah, I thought this was just really fun. I just wanted to write more YA. Really enjoyed seeing more about the chess world, another area where we need more women. And basically in this book, Mallory meets Nolan and beats Nolan at this, I think it's like a charity chess event. And from that point on, Nolan is like trying to find her, and Mallory is just running away from Nolan practically. I think the first half of this book, that was annoying. Like, I did not like how she was just running away from him. That was very annoying to read. And my number one thing that I don't like in romance books is when the guy either tells a girl that he likes her. Like in Love on the Brain, Levi said, I don't hate you, and she still just kept saying, we're enemies, even though he clearly stated that he did not hate her, but she just kept running with that. That was annoying. But I don't like when the girl just assumes, he doesn't like me. When Nolan made it very clear that he liked her, and I even think after Mallory and Nolan kissed, she was like, he doesn't like me. And that is my number one thing in romance books that I can't stand. A lot of Ali Hazelwood characters, they just like cannot comprehend that someone could like them. And when it gets so obvious in the book, that's the number one thing in romance books that I don't like. Like, we don't have to just have the female lead be like, do all Ali Hazelwood characters think they're ugly or something, and they just can't wrap their head around someone liking them? So yeah, that is my number one thing with romance books that I don't like. So that was the main issue with this, but I liked the plot. I thought it was fun. I just enjoyed all of it. Mallory and Nolan had great depth to them. We really understood Mallory's whole family dynamic well. So yeah, it was really good. I hope she writes more YA. I'll definitely read it. And last, my favorite Ali Hazelwood book is Love Theoretically. Look at my notes here. So we have Elsie, who is an adjunct professor. And Jack, he's just a experimental physicist. And Elsie is a theoretical physicist. So, Elsie really showed, like, how Ali Hazelwood does in all of her books, that it's really tough being in academia, and, you know, the struggles of getting research grants, getting paid enough as a DRA, getting paid enough as an adjunct professor, making enough money as a PhD candidate, for example. But with Elsie, she's not making enough as an adjunct professor, so she is a professional fake girlfriend. And I'm like, okay, I'll take fake dating in this instance. And the romance is between Elsie and the brother of Elsie's client. And the brother's name is Jack. And I just thought Jack having a brother added depth to his character. So the characters felt real. Elsie is really likable. I think her advisor or something, I don't know, someone that she worked with, I read this a while ago, often calls her Elise, and I like related to that because my name's Hallie, but people call me Haley a lot, so I'm like, okay, I totally get that. But yeah, I was rooting for her when she's looking for a job. I'm looking for a job, so I really like related heavily with Elsie. She had an interesting character flaw in that she just is always pretending and putting on masks, and Jack helped her like work through that. So really cool character flaw to have there. The way that Elsie and Jack were different types of physicists made their rivalry really fascinating. And yeah, I think this is one of the more science-heavy ones. I really appreciated that. Also, Elsie had diabetes, which added depth to her character, and Jack also helped with that, which really, characterized him and made him seem like a great guy. Jack, he's a little controlling. Ali Hazelwood likes her men controlling, but, he wasn't perfect, but still really liked him. I liked the way that he supported her. But yeah, this plot was so interesting. Really liked the romance. It had great tension, and yeah, really enjoyed it. And it was definitely my favorite Ali Hazelwood book. And I'm like promoting Ali Hazelwood's next book. It's called Problematic Summer Romance. So that is coming up in May. So keep your eye out for that if you're interested in the tropes in that book. I think it's like an age gap romance if you're into that. And then she also has Meet, which is the sequel to Bride, coming out. Those are some books that are gonna come out. But yeah, there's no announcement of more YA books, but I would love more college and YA, because I love reading books set in college, but it's hard to find good ones. So yeah, that's what I want more of from Ali Hazelwood. So yeah, I hope you all will, give all these books a try. We're gonna pick up a little more science knowledge along the way, have a laugh, because her humor is always there. She's a really great writer with a great agenda, a great progressive agenda. And so I'm excited to see what else she does. So thank you so much for watching this video. Comment your favorite Ali Hazelwood book below, or one you're most interested in out of this list. And I'll see you in the next video. I have a lot of videos coming out, so keep an eye out for those. All right. It is like midnight right now, so I need to go to sleep. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.